Hello everyone, it is Erin Floto here, and I am here filming my June setup. I am doing a theme based on this book, Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, which was a nostalgic book from my childhood where I learned my alphabet. So I don't know if this was like only a US thing, but this was very, very popular in my school for learning your alphabet. So I decided to base an entire theme around it because I love the color palette with like the nice pink and yellow. It's very summery colors, and obviously in June we're getting into the heat. Even here in upstate New York, we are getting into the heat. So I decided that these colors would be good, and with the coconut tree and everything like that. So that is the book that I learned my alphabet, like primarily. I love that book so much as a kid. And I would love to know, please raise your hand in the comments below if you also have heard of this book and if that's how you learned your alphabet. And if you did not learn it that way, what way did you learn your alphabet? Please let me know in the comments down below because I am super interested. I just remember this being like a big part of my childhood for some reason. I don't even need to look up the name of this book. Like, if anyone asked me how I learned my alphabet, I would immediately say Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. So, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was a very American thing. I don't really know. But I just thought it would be fun to, I don't know, base a theme around it. So you can see here that I have made a Dutch door, and I am doing something that I have never ever in my life done before, and that is do an entire month as a Dutch door. And what I mean by that is the left-hand side of this cover page is going to be available for every single page in my setup. So I don't typically do this because I don't like to create like big bumps in my journal. But this is the end of my bullet journal. My bullet journals typically go 6 months. So this will be the last month in this Blackout notebook, and I'll be moving to a new notebook soon. Pro tip for anyone that is watching right now, if you flip your paintbrush over, you get perfect circles. So just in case you're wondering why I'm using the wrong end of a paintbrush, that is why. I am like putting some places where there's more paint than others just to create a little bit of dimension between the dots. So you have some that are slightly larger and some that are slightly smaller, and then some in between sizes, which is not how it is in the book. But again, this is kind of my take on this entire book in this theme. So anyways, back to what I was saying. So on this left-hand side of the cover page, I am going to have a habit tracker. And one of the things that I have struggled with the most during the pandemic has been, Panini, during the Panini, has been my habits. I have been terrible at them, and I've noticed that I am better when I include my habit tracker on my weeklies. So instead of recreating it every single month, I decided to make a giant Dutch door out of my month. And I got the idea because I watched Jess from Joshi Curran do her weeklies as Dutch doors, and I was like, that's a good idea. And what I could do on the left-hand panel is do a habit tracker. So that's what I decided to do here. So I'm nervous about doing this, but at the same time, this feels like the perfect time to do it in my bullet journal because like I said, this is going to be the end of my bullet journal. So typically I don't like to use a lot of paint or do a lot of things that could warp my bullet journal or create bumps while I'm using my bullet journal. But because this is the last month, I actually don't mind the fact that I'm going to do that. I think that it makes a lot of sense to me to do something like extra and creative during this time when I know I won't be using pages after this, so it's not going to cause me a lot of heartache or frustration, like to create another theme another month and have to still be dealing with like the bump that it creates to do a Dutch door every single week. So hopefully it works out. Like I said, I've never done this before, so I will keep you updated on how it's working out for me. I think it could be interesting. I'm a little nervous to do it, but overall, it'll work out. It's fine. Everything's fine. And I am using a Sakura jelly roll. So I actually blended my paint to create this like reddish pinkish color. It's a little bit more pink than red, but it matches the red jelly roll from the Moonlight collection pretty well. So I decided to go ahead and mix that paint just because I didn't want to be covering a huge amount of space with the jelly roll. So I thought, okay, now's the time. Let's just do paint. I haven't played with paint in a while, and I actually had a lot of fun mixing this paint this time. So this is a blend of reds, yellows, oranges, whites, and pinks to create this this color so that it matched that jelly roll. It's a little bit more red than the book, but I don't really mind that. And then I'm just putting in my calendar. I don't remember what I did for my calendar. Where's my bullet journal? So I did my calendar 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces wide and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces tall. So that fits in a pretty compact space while also allowing me enough room to write, I believe. I think that it would be a little tight for things that I have on multiple days, but I don't like go ham on this, like my monthly calendars. I put some of the most important things that are on my mind that I have scheduled. Mostly it's like patron stuff, and like I don't put my whole work calendar on here. So it's not usually a huge deal because I only have one thing usually per day. But overall, I think it'll be just fine. So moving on, this month is just like last month where I'm keeping things a little bit more simple. So I really only have one other thing that I want to track other than my habits, and that is my master tasks. I like to have a place just to think about things at the beginning of the month, put a lot of my major tasks down, and then if I'm ever thinking about things again during the month, I just like to have one spot where I can put my tasks. And this time it is related to my home and my work. My business tasks do go in a separate notebook. While the separate notebook is working, I'm really, really nervous because we're approaching the time when I'm going to have to start going back to work at some point. So having things in a lot of separate notebooks right now, it was working really, really well for the pandemic. Panini, Aaron, the panini. It was working really well for the panini. But I have concerns over me traveling. Right now, it still looks like I'll be home for like quite a few months, and they've talked about doing this 30-day transition period because they know people have lives and have made obligations where I work, so they know that they can't just say people come in tomorrow. A lot of people have lives, have kids, have they're caring for their elderly parents or, whatever. So they have promised a transition, so hopefully that does happen in this like quote unquote 30-day time period type of thing. So I I think I'm gonna have to switch it up for the next notebook, and I have an idea. I'm nervous about it because it's not something I ever thought I would do, but you'll see when I'm setting up for July. Well, probably. You'll probably see when I'm setting up for my new notebook first. But I'm theoretically I'm excited about it. That's all I'll say about that. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to have my master task list for my home and for my work. And then on the right-hand side, I have the coconut tree that is famous in this book. Basically, everyone in the alphabet are like these little characters, and they're trying to climb a coconut tree. And spoiler alert, but they all fall down. So, and then instead of doing a quote, I thought it would be really funny to do LMNOP, because I don't know about you, but the fact that they're teaching kids the alphabet a different way, and I will link whatever, like, the alphabet changes down below if you have not heard this yet. But basically, they think it's confusing to kids that everyone speeds up LMNOP because it sounds like one word, elemento. So I just thought it would be funny for that to be like my quote unquote, like my quote page, not quote unquote, but my quote page for this month, because I didn't really need anything else in this setup. I was going to add some more, but at this point, things are very simple for me, and I really don't want to create more than I'm ready for. So I really needed this to stay simple. And one of the great things about this theme is that the drawing style is so simple. It is meant for kids, right? So it's not like a very strenuous type of style. So I really enjoy that, because I did not feel like doing anything strenuous. I really wanted to do that with my May theme and go above and beyond with my glaciers and my lava. But then I got hit with a lot of mental health issues this month, and it kind of made me feel a little bit like a failure not being able to fill in like these beautiful spreads that I had planned, just because I literally don't have energy. Like, that's why I've taken off for the past few weeks, because the fact that I'm even doing this is a lot. My mental health has just not been good. So, and by the way, thank you to all the messages on Instagram for those that follow me there. I have seen so much wonderful, and the bullet journal community is such a wonderful and supportive community. So thank you to everyone that messaged me, and for a lot of people that I know didn't, but also know what it's like to go through mental health issues. I feel you. I'm here for you. If there's anything I can do, please reach out, because I believe wholeheartedly that people can help each other. So, and a lot of you have for me in the past few weeks, reaching out and making sure that I'm okay. So I just want to say that I really, really appreciate it. So going back to my setup, basically I am just finishing up things here, and I did decide to add a weekly setup in there. It's not something that, like, so I just took one of Jess's weekly spreads. It's very simple with, Monday through Sunday. And then I did add another section for home priorities and business priorities. So overall, I really ended up liking this setup and how simple it was. And I'm really, really interested to see how this habits section is going to go. I did not decide my habits yet, so I have not put like the little icons. Basically, I think I'm going to be doing 5 different habits, and then there's going to be like an icon right under the habits header, and then I'll fill in the 2 spots for every habit. I think that's how I'm gonna do it. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Jess's setups, and I like how she does her habit tracker with the 2 spaces and the little icon. So, I think I'm probably gonna do that because Jess is awesome. And then I'm doing my best Haley Remdy impression by creating my little tabs here. She is just the queen of tabs. So I decided to go ahead and do that because I will be flipping through and having a bunch of different weeklies. So I thought that would be helpful to have tabs for all of the weeklies, especially with like this kind of Dutch door setup. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward while I work on this. I hope you all like this video. Please let me know in the comments down below if you've ever done this kind of setup. I would be super, super interested to hear how it works for you. And then if you have learned your alphabet a different way, don't forget to let me know in the comments down below how you learn the alphabet. And I am so sorry about this sun glare. It took so long for that paint to dry because I put it on really thick. And I needed to sleep for the rest of the night. So I couldn't, unfortunately, help how the sun was coming in the morning. Honestly, when I have enough energy is when I do things. So I had energy the morning that I did this. And a lot of times I just don't have enough energy. So I have to make use of the time when I do. So otherwise, I probably would have waited till later in the day, but honestly, with where I'm at, I'm just taking what I can get right now. So I hope you like this setup. I'll speed through the rest and leave you to some music, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.